We are talking again about purpose and the purpose of your life. Uh, today, on Sunday, we went and we were prayed about that. Remember,
Yes.
we got that prayer over us.
Yes, we had prayer over us, and I know it was the opportunity of a lifetime because God allowed us to be there in that moment because it was a struggle to even go to church. We were like,
oh yeah, we were like,
we're not going.
Not that.
But even though we got up and we
persevered
and we pressed our way, and then there we were able to be prayed for by a very, very well-known person.
Right, and it was good to have that, to release that and have someone else praying over us. Because, we pray over ourselves because we're supposed to pray over ourselves.
Absolutely.
But when you have somebody else praying for you and on the same page as you, you're in alignment with where you got to go.
Right, because that is what's called on one accord.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We're on one accord. This didn't work.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you say it.
The word in alignment is...
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, in alignment is good. Yes. That's good word. Yeah,
so welcome to Talk to the Twin Soul Sisters podcast. We are Patrix and Patrix, Butterfly and Angel Wing. And
yes.
Honey, if you don't know us by now, you're going to get to know us.
You will get to know us.
We get to stay.
Here to stay.
Amen.
No matter what.
Yeah. So, like we were saying, the purpose and the purpose-driven life, a lot of your purpose has to do with what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
I agree.
Yeah, because we're dealing with a lot of stuff, and so my purpose flows in that direction.
Right.
And a lot of times, even as twins, we don't have the same
purpose.
The same direction. Right. Yeah. That it flows in. So we have to be mindful of that because she may be pulling one way and I'll be pulling the other way. But I need to do this and we can do this together. It'll be more powerful.
And it may just be a clash.
Maybe a clash because it may not be for her.
Right.
She didn't have that purpose birthed in her. I had it in me.
Absolutely. So we have to be conscious of what is going on.
With each other.
With each other.
Yeah, and respectful. Respect your boundaries.
Yeah. So when you're so close, then it seems like you're breaking up a happy home, but it's not. It's letting one another grow in their purpose.
In their purpose
that they have, right?
I like that.
Yeah, and like one of us, we each have our own podcast aside from this podcast.
Yes.
We each have individual podcasts that that is something that we've gone through our own lives. That only we could relate to, that can help relate to others that have been through what we've gone through.
Absolutely.
So what's the name of your podcast?
My podcast, it's got the longest title because she helped me do it.
Yeah,
it's called It's Not Impossible, Real Talk, Disabled, and Fearless Podcast. What y'all think about that?
Oh, that's a good one. I know that. I can't remember that.
Yeah, me and girl, I couldn't remember for a minute, but I had to learn my own podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That's so long.
It's so long. Yeah, you might have to break it down. It's kind of like the YUOTT. Whatever, give it
like the acronym.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, that's
please, honey, because I can't remember. But anyway, my podcast is Divorced and Delivered.
Oh, she said like she happy.
Yeah, delivered. When you deliver, then you is happy.
Right. So each situation that we were dealt, it took us into those directions.
Those purposes.
Although we do have our podcast together, which is focusing on positivity, encouragement, just us being ourselves,
hot topics,
comedy, all that good stuff. We each have our own separate purpose in life. Yes. So you can have separate purposes and still have a purpose together.
Yeah. And how you find your purpose is based off of things that you've dealt with, or what's close to you, what are you passionate about. That's how you find your purpose. So my purpose was, in Divorced and Delivered, since I had went through a vicious, nasty one, my purpose was to help those that are going through a divorce. And God always gave me the discernment.
To encourage them?
It's to encourage them. So God always gave me the discernment to feel when someone was going through something of divorce. And so that's how I ended up doing my purpose, because I was passionate about it. I didn't want anyone to hurt like I felt. I didn't want anyone to feel like they weren't loved, that they were the cause of it. I wanted people to know that, it's okay, that you will be okay and you can get through this. That's a high
find your purpose, because there's a lot of people
right.
that can relate to that and identify what you're saying, what you've been through,
right.
or that have just recently gone through it, and you've been through it, that you can give them, tips, steps, and ideas of how they can manage that
right.
situation for themselves.
Right. So that's how I found my purpose. And to help others find their purpose is, digging deep and seeing what it is that they truly love and what they're passionate about, that they would want to do in order to help someone else.
Right.
Finding your purpose can be a challenge because you may have several things that that you're passionate about, but it's got to be that one huge thing that in your heart that is what you need to be working on, right?
Right, absolutely.
So that finds your purpose. So in your podcast, you were born with a disability.
Mm-hmm.
For years, you would hide your hand. You didn't know how to feel about having your hand. You didn't know how to be around people. People didn't know how to be around you. So you are passionate about sharing that for those that are going through the same thing, whether it be missing limbs or whatever have you type of disability, in order to encourage them and give them more
hope. Give them hope. And not only that, it is to bring awareness to those that are not disabled to understand how we feel as a person, as a human being, to be treated in a manner of like normal people. Like if you see someone with a disability, don't be like, oh my God. Oh yeah. Oh well, if I say hi or don't second guess it. Just say, hey, how you doing? You having a good day?
Yeah.
It's
not like gonna attack you.
I know, and I've felt like for years it has been one of the main reasons I don't have any friends.
Right.
And and you can say whatever you want. I know I personally myself have checked my own box to see that have I said anything rude? Have I done anything harmful towards this person? Have I made someone feel uncomfortable? But no, it's not my fault. It's their situation, their fault that they're not comfortable because they have not realized that a disabled person is just as vulnerable and normal as anyone else. Just because they have missing limbs or what have you, that doesn't mean they can't talk and have a normal conversation or hang out or like to go dancing or just be a friend. So it has been a difficult time for me for years, and now it has been on my heart to express the way I feel, and I feel that more people feel this way too. Right. I haven't seen a lot of people hanging out with disabled people. I just ain't seen it.
No, it's not.
Especially like if I go dancing with my sister. Thank God I'm with an able-bodied person that understands.
Yeah.
That it's okay to hang out when you go dancing.
You dance too.
Girl, I can cut rugs.
Honey, yes, you're one of the best dancers I ever met.
Oh, thank you. So are you.
Yeah.
So it's just a purpose for me.
Yeah.
On my own, and a purpose for her on her own. And then we come together, and it makes a bigger purpose with us together as well. Mm-mm. Yes.
So, and saying that, hopefully those two scenarios will help you learn how to find your purpose, right?
Right.
Absolutely. So it's the best way to tell you how to find your purpose and help you to find your purpose is to hear our story that somehow you can pick it apart.
Register.
Yeah, and you can relate and say, oh. Yeah,
and think about what has affected your life the most. Right. Think about how you have come through so many different things and what sticks out to you the most. I'm not talking about like, oh, I had to pay this bill and I couldn't pay it this week. I'm talking about from a long stance that you have had to endure or had to work through and build yourself to a certain level where you have overcome it or you can, cope with it better.
Right.
That right there will give you a huge clue or identity of what your purpose is.
Oh, I love it. All right, we're going to move on to our next segment. Hopefully you can take some of those nuggets and apply them to your life.
Yes, honey, bring it. Bring it to your life.
Oh, you call me.